Hola Fishing World, it's Polish Pete, and we got a whole bunch of cool stuff from Deps in. We've been waiting for these for a while. We wanted to make sure we could get a significant amount in before we really talked about them or put them on the site, and we did just that. Jacob did his job to track this stuff down, and we've got a whole bunch of stuff from Deps currently in our assortment and more to come. We're going to start off talking about some of the most highly sought after baits on the entire market. That'd be the slide swimmers and the bull shooters, to be exact, too, with Deps. If you're not familiar with Deps, in Japan, Deps is considered one of the most premium lure manufacturers there is, period. This is catch a fish stuff. It's spendy and it's hard to come by, but it's definitely got a cult following out there, from hardcore anglers to lure collectors. Doesn't matter. If you're familiar with Deps, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, do your own research on a lot of the stuff that's out there on them. They're tough to come by, to say the least. So we started off with getting the tiny bull shooters. We don't have the full-size ones in yet, but they are on order. But absolutely amazing action on these, and they're beautiful finishes. It doesn't do it justice on camera. You got to check them out in person. The tiny bull shooter here's or mimic the forage in my neck of the woods and around the country. Anywhere there's bluegills present, these have been getting big bites all over the place. Check out the tiny bull shooter. We have the slide swimmer and the 175, and the highly sought after 250s, the 175 being a common size up where I live. If you live around all those double-digit fish, the 250s are the way to go. These swim baits have actually a soft feel to them. The material they use on the exterior of the bait, it actually feels kind of realistic when you hold on to it. Keeps the theory behind it is it makes fish kind of hang on and bite down harder on it because it doesn't feel like a hard plastic or wood. They have a very realistic finishes to them, as you can see. But they also have a realistic feel to them. Kind of sets them apart from a lot of their competition on that. We have this little tiny 115 slide swimmer. I was doing my homework on this one. This one was designed to be a follow-up bait. So if you're throwing these big ones, if you're not a swim bait angler and you do a little bit of research on that, you see that a lot of times, similar to musky fishing up here, a lot of times you're seeing follows from larger fish that are unwilling to commit to that large offering you're giving them with a big swim bait. You can follow up with a similar action in a smaller bite size swim bait here that they can commit to a little easier. So this one's become a popular one as well. Next up, we have their Frilled Shad. So this is a little soft plastic, like I would consider it a jerk bait, but it's got kind of a scrounger type bill molded into the plastic. So if you use a ball head jig or any swim bait style head on this, this will actually impart action on it as you swim it through the water column. So you can fish it like a fluke, but you can also impart action on it, just reeling it back in and make it get bottom contact and deflect off stuff and make it, give it a swimming action. Very unique offering there from Deps as far as the swim bait goes. Next, we're going up top. We're going right all the way to the top of the water column with the Evoke 120, the Evoke 120. I don't want to take this one out of the package because these things, we didn't get a million of these things and they absolutely look beautiful. These are similar to a whopper plopper, right? So as we all know, that top style plopping action, Topwaters have gotten super popular. They've been out for a while in Japan now. This one has a metal blade on the back of it. It's going to give you a little bit different sound. Incredibly beautiful finishes on this. They come stock with Ryugi hooks on them. So if you're looking for a premium, super high-end, highly sought after, something different to throw at the fish, if you're a big topwater angler, check out the Evoke 120 there. Next up is a couple of their Squarebill offerings. We have the 2.0 and the 1.8. The 1.8's got kind of that longer Squarebill to it. So you got a smaller crankbait here with less resistance with a longer bill on it, so it should reach pretty significant depths for a Squarebill. The 2.0 here, I've known about this one for a while. In fact, I think I own a couple of them, to be honest with you. I'm going to check before I buy any of these. But just beautiful finishes, Squarebill offerings from Deps there. The circuit vibe. I think you guys have all seen that we're obsessed with blade bait fishing here, and that's pretty, makes a lot of sense considering we live in the cold north. This is a cool offering from Deps here in their circuit vibe. The body of the blade bait is actually made out of a circuit board material. So it is an insane low center of gravity with the metal portion of the blade being just on the bottom So it's going to give it a unique action and a unique pitch to it as you're working it like you work a blade bait. Typically with just your rod tip up and just imparting a little bit of action on it with just your rod tip, or just a little bit of a reel to the handle just to get it to pop up and shake up off the bottom. Great cold weather, winter, even an ice fishing bait for any of you ice anglers out there. Cool offering from Deps. I bet you they haven't seen a lot of these ones. Next up is one that I actually got asked for quite a bit last year. I was unfamiliar with these myself, but I think with the popularity growing in forward-facing sonar and being able to see those inactive fish that are either suspended or down there deep and you're trying to get them to bite, people were asking us for the Skamata Shad. So this here is like a soft plastic jerkbait offering. The larger one here being the heavyweight. And let me tell you right now, when you hold these two bags, you can tell there's quite a bit of difference. I'm assuming there's a lot more sand and salt content in the heavyweight one. This one would be fished like a traditional soft plastic jerkbait, like the famous Zoom flukes or a caffeine shad. Just a big 4 or 5 aught hook in that thing in an EWG and fish it on weightless. And then this one here being the heavyweight version, you'd be able to cast this thing out weightless and get it down to extreme depths quickly. And if you can actually watch them on that forward-facing sonar, you can get it down to that deep depths and kind of imparts a little bit of action on it like a dying bait fish. And it's completely weightless and silent, obviously, so you might get some of those fish that are kind of neutral at the time or off to commit to a big bait like this. I'm assuming these are going to be super popular and go really fast because the amount of good anglers that asked me for them made it so that I'm going to buy a bunch of them, so sorry about that, guys. The next one I'm going to talk about is a bit comical. It's been talked about a lot all over the place, a lot of jokes being made about this one. I can tell you this much, they do work, they catch them, and hence why people are kind of scrounging the internet, scraping the internet to go find where they're available, and that is the cover scat. This bait right here looks like scat or poop. It doesn't look very good at all. It's definitely not an attractive lure that's catch a fisherman, but it must be a really good fish catcher because people have fought after these things and been looking for them all over the internet. You can fish this weightless similar to a football jig. You put a big offset EWG in them or any sort of Texas rigging hook you have your confidence in, fire it out there weightless, and this thing will sink down to some extreme depth. And then you can fish it along the bottom, similar to a football jig. And you can part a little bit of action on it, and they kind of dart around a little bit and fall kind of in a unique fall. They've got ribs kind of in them to make them have a little bit of shaking, weird falling action. So if you're looking for an interesting stocking stuffer this year, get somebody some baits that look like poop. Next up would be the bull flats. This is the last one we have here from Deps so far in our offering from them. These ones do your own research on these. There's some cool footage out there on how guys are rigging these things up. They look like a little bait fish or shad or a bluegill imitation. You can rig them weightless, skip them under docks. They fall awesome. You can put a bullet weight on them and flip them. They come in 3 different sizes that we have here. We have the little 3-inch bull flat here. We have the 3.8, which looks to me to be the size that I would kind of want to start off with and try them weightless and try them maybe in some different flipping applications. And then last but not least, they got this big 4.8-inch version of it. That would be killer, obviously weightless. This thing would get down to some depths and kind of have a unique fall to it, probably get bit by some big bluegill eaters and big shad eaters out there. All this stuff right now is on the site. Like I said, this is highly sought after stuff. Don't be shocked if you see that a lot of colors, variation, sizes, even whole families are out of stock. We'll be chasing this stuff down as much as we possibly can. Thank you to the Deps folks for getting this out to us. We're excited to carry some of it because we've been asked about a bunch of this stuff for a while now. All this stuff, like I said, is on the site. Go check it all out now and go catch them.